Over the past 8 months, the WSS Aboriginal Leadership Team, Chatchquam, have learned so much about Aboriginal culture. These unique and personal stories are our contribution to the 24-hour drum.
If I had a message for youth or students in BC, it would be to understand the history of First Nations people and where we were in the past and where we are now based on the promise of residential school.
In speaking with different community members, we have learned about this land and its significance to First Nations culture.
He said this old man used to come and camp out here or somewhere. Wasn't right in Whistler, but close enough. And when the wind blew, the mountain did whistle. It did whistle. So my dad tells
Good
me.
morning, my name is Lex Joseph. I work for the Lillooet Nation. I'm the cultural technician. And I provide comments on cultural rituals and customs for each project that the band is undertaking.
Awesome. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. So first of all, we heard that this place is where Lillooet medicine people trained, like this area kind of where the school is. Is that true? And can you give like a little bit of information kind of about that?
There was once, back in the 1920s, a medicine man. His name was John Skye. He used to train over by the Green Lake, and right there by the highway where the highway meets the lake, just down the street there. And he used to train every day, every morning, and throughout the day he would travel about throughout the valley here, swimming in each creek and also bathing in each lake that he came across.
The connection that we've made now is that this land is still being used to educate.
Happened since, of course, but I wanted to say that I'm a grandfather of 10, and I'm named after one of my uncles who actually lived here also in Whistler during my childhood, and that's one of the things I wanted to point out, because back in the 50s, way before Whistler happened, really, I actually lived here. And we lived right across Green Lake here, and so I have one photo of it, and that is going to be shown. Probably the very first time publicly. And but one of my brothers, who was also a chief way back in the 80s, he passed on last year, and he was also our spiritual leader, and I'm sort of honoring him today also in indicating to Whistler and others in regards to being to publicly, make a lot of statements about where we stand, here, because it's, of course, it's part of our traditional territory, and we share it with the Squamish.
We've learned that the First Nations cultures are being recognized, and shared territory is often acknowledged at different events. Culture and traditions are being celebrated more often in our community, and that consultation of the Lillooet and Squamish nations is being done.
But I became chief again prior to the Olympics here in Whistler, the 2010, and mainly because I was very skeptical of what was happening. We just didn't want to be treated as the so-called token Indians, like a lot of the Olympics prior to. So we got fully involved, and we were already talking, of course, to our neighbors, the Squamish Nation. So we formed a protocol with them as the two nations, and then started to work with Whistler and, of course, the whole Olympic movement that was happening. And from that, we further formed the Four Host First Nations, who became the official hosts of the Olympics also, with Whistler.
The Aboriginal leadership team at Whistler Secondary School would like to thank Tanina Williams for guiding our learning this year. We would also like to acknowledge and give a thanks to Eddie and Laura Chavarge from the Nakwakawa Nation, Lex Joseph, Chief Dean Nelson, and Chief Leonard Andrew, all from the Lillooet Nation. Thank you also to Chris, Alex, and Daniel Wells for sharing your songs and dances at Whistler Secondary.